Well, welcome everybody to the latest in our series of Ship Management International podcasts. And we're actually honoured and delighted, but also very honoured today to be speaking to Irene Rosberg, who's Programme Director of the Executive MBA in Shipping and Logistics, basically known as a Blue MBA at the Copenhagen Business School. Personally, I've known Irene for many, many years. I regard her a bit of as a mentor to me and a guide to me as well in my industry life and the media life that I've had. And I must say, I don't think I've ever met anybody who's better connected in the industry than Irene. And she's seen as a support and an inspiration to hundreds in the shipping industry. And we're absolutely delighted to have her here today in the studio. Good morning, Irene, and welcome to our podcast.
Good morning, Sean, and thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning.
It's lovely to sort of pin you down, really. It's funny about the shipping industry, Irene. You know, we're all friends as well as colleagues, working colleagues, and what have you. And we all sort of we don't meet down the pub. We all meet in places like Singapore and Greece and Oslo and what have you, and London as well. But it's lovely to actually pin you down. What I want to really do is I just really want to sort of find out a little bit about you to begin with, really. I mean, we know you through the Blue MBA, and we'll come on to that in a second. Where did you start? How did you get into shipping? I mean, there'll be a lot out there who want to sort of know a little bit more about you. How did you get into shipping? What sort of got you into the industry in the first place? What's your background?
First of all, we meet in all the different places because we are the citizens of the world. If you are working in this industry, you belong to the entire globe. So we are all over the place. That's right. The way I got into this shipping industry is that I've always been fascinated by this industry and the changing nature of the industry, the dynamic of the industry, the opportunities that this industry is really offering. And perhaps I should say also because the male-dominating nature of this industry was also a challenge. And you want to show to the world that you can actually be a woman and be successful in this male-dominated industry. I've worked all my professional life in this industry. I've done a lot of work within the research area, within the European Commission and other places. But the entire focus of the work that I have always been doing has been grooming the next generation of CEOs, looking at the needs of the top management people within this industry and how I could help. And of course, in 2001, I was headhunted to run this MBA, which has been such an amazing journey. It's absolutely fantastic. And today we are running a program which is recognized as the best in the world. And I'm really very happy to be a part of it.
And now you talked there about, well, this whole issue of women in shipping and I suppose breaking the glass ceiling and diversity, equity and inclusion is so important in shipping and you know, right the way across the board, you know, as shipping is evolving and developing, we've got to attract in the right people. Are we getting there? Is shipping improving, or is it very much still the same old story from many years ago that, you know, we do still need to do an awful lot to attract the wider community into this amazing industry that we all work in?
Well, it definitely is improving. And thanks to those people who are leading this industry who are really very forward-looking and they see the challenge. I mean, the industry is really affected by so many rules and regulations and, you know, as well as the emerging of the technologies that you can see today, which is there's a lot of challenges. However, some of these challenges could also lead to opportunities and positive changes. And take, for example, modern technology, which not only provides the enterprises with the growth opportunities, but also can act as a driver to help close the gender gap in this otherwise very male-dominated industry. And then, of course, when it comes to gender equality and the gender gap in this industry, it is, of course, a two-way street, as they say. It takes two to tango. Yes, there is the industry who should do its part to provide opportunities. But I believe that our female colleagues should also be more active in seeking those opportunities and prepare for taking advantage of those opportunities. I mean, to my female colleagues, I have always said, do not settle for a job. Aspire to have a career in this industry. And to achieve that, it all boils down in having the right skills and tools that you have to succeed. And that is really very important. So I consider myself an entrepreneur at heart. always on a move, and committed to bring about positive change in this industry. Now, I've done this for the past 20 plus years with the Blue MBA and now with the Blue Board program. I'm also deeply committed to moving towards a more gender equal future. Fortunately, I have received a lot of support from my male colleagues in pursuing this goal, and I will continue to working towards this, championing the support for the opportunities which can provide the women in this sector. But as I said, the individuals, our female colleagues, should also want to aspire to have careers, and therefore there are opportunities. When I compared the program that I'm running with when I started it in the class of 2001 and the class of 2003, there were no female participants in that group. And you can imagine that how much we have improved. And that by itself shows the progress we have done.
So, I mean, just touching on that, and I really applaud what you say there, where you aspire to have a career, and this is what I say to people when they talk about shipping, and what's it like to work in. I regard myself as being privileged to be part of this amazing industry because it's unbelievable, and and it's multifaceted. You can be a seafarer, you can be a ship manager, you can be a lawyer, you could be in the media side, you could be working in the port industry, you could be trade, politics. It encompasses absolutely everything. Touching on and developing that point there about making it more inclusive, but certainly the wide elements within the community need to do their bit. How can they do more? Well, you've got organisations like WISTA that are doing a great job out there in highlighting all of these issues. Is it more just that shipping needs to do a better job in telling everybody, the wider community, about shipping per se? And come on board because it's a brilliant career?
I think perhaps we should show our successes even better. I think we're very modest in showing what we have done and how fantastic we have done. We are working in an industry which moves the world. Can you imagine how fantastic that is to be a part of this very exciting industry? So we have to get better in showing our successes and celebrating our successes. That is important.
I think a lot of industries will say that as well. But I think, when you look at recruitment and, industry's changing, and we're going to come on in a minute to the programs that you run at the CBS and how you are sort of working with, the executives of the future and the CEOs of the future. And this is so exciting. It's changing. The industry is changing. There's a massive emphasis now on digitalization, on technology, innovation, solutions. The industry is all about, they're about saying, what's your problem? We have a solution. And the young of today and tomorrow are tuned into that. But there's a lot of competition with other land-based jobs like, the media, whatever it may be. But shipping still needs to do a lot, doesn't it, to actually to open up and attract these people in?
Again, so I think that the importance of this business is not really very celebrated so much. I mean, we are working for an industry which has an impact on every little thing we do in this world, and we don't really talk so much about it. I think this has to be more celebrated. This has to be more publicized, that this industry is so important in everyday's life. If you look at the talent, talent shortage is something that we are facing. It's all over the place. We are talking about the seafarers, the shortage in the talent when it comes to the management, the leaders in this industry. And of course, in all these years that I have been working in this industry, there's one thing that I have learned, and it is that people should be at the heart of each company's endeavors. Now, it could be seafarers, it could be the management team, it could be the leaders, all of them. Prioritizing investment in individuals poised to run or lead this industry is crucial. Ensuring that they acquire the necessary skill sets and excel in what they are doing is a recipe for growth and also success. And of course, who doesn't want to be a member of a company, enterprise, who doesn't invest in its people? I think that's the part that the companies and the leaders in this industry play, to make sure that they see that how they can invest on the people who are working for this industry. And of course, any individual, when they go and work somewhere, one of the things they think about is that what is in there for me, So you have to invest in people. That's the part that the enterprises, the companies will play. And the part of the individual is that to really make sure that they're aware, so much awareness of what is happening. This is happening also within the seafarers. We are now looking at the industry, which is going to be, we are talking about the shortage of the seafarers, which is becoming more and more, especially with the new technology that we have in place.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I was talking to somebody the other day about, when I went into shipping back 40 years ago, and the big issue was shortage of seafarers. We still got that same problem, that same issue. Coming on to, you talked about in 2001, you were headhunted to come in to head up the MBA. Talk to me about what aspirations you had for the program when you came in, because this would have been something new for you. What did you think you could do? What did you think how far did you think you could take the MBA? Because, when people talk now in the industry about, I want an MBA in shipping, yours is the one that everybody talks about. So you've done an amazing job in pushing and promoting it and doing it the right way. But when in 2001, let me take you back to that, 25 years ago, a young Irene Rosberg is coming in and saying, right, I think I can do some good stuff here. How big was the job ahead of you? And what did you really think that you could probably achieve? And have you exceeded that?
There were a few things that I wanted to do. And I was very sure these are the things that I had to achieve if I want to have a success in this new job. First of all, I wanted to make sure that people who are coming to this program are coming from all over the world. I wanted to have a global cohort. I also wanted to make sure that people will get a holistic view of the maritime industry. And the reason for that was that whatever happens in this industry, no matter how clever you are in a niche area, whatever happens in this industry will have an impact on everything that we are doing. So I wanted to make sure that we are grooming the next generation of CEOs who has a holistic view of this industry. In other words, you cannot be a perfect naval architect and you think that's it. That only takes you so far. You have to be able to see when you are designing a new vessel, what are the impact of that new vessel on the port infrastructure, on the environment, on the CO2 emission, on the price of the steel, etc., etc. You would only be a very successful CEO if you can really understand all these things, right? So that was one of the things. So that therefore it was important to give a holistic view. And also I wanted to make sure to have people in this cohort who are there because they're loving this industry. They want to contribute to the success of this industry. That is perhaps one of the reasons that when I still do that, when we recruit a participant, like any other schools or programs that you have seen, I never say you have to pay the entire tuition fee beforehand. I all divide it into installment, which each semester. Then one of the reasons for that is that I do not want anybody to do this program because, oh my God, I have paid for it, now I have to do it. I want people to do it because they're loving it, because they want to do it, because they learn to do it, because they are absolutely, getting a lot of tools which is useful for them and want to do it. So that is what I wanted to do. And believe me, we are there. We have really achieved that. If you're in an MBA world that I have been for many years now, and as you know, I also sit as a peer review member for the Association of MBAs. One of the challenges that a lot of the MBA programs have is attracting the right and good size of cohort.
Yeah.
This program does not have that anymore. We are now picking and choosing. We are now raising the bar. We are making sure that the class which meets is absolutely diverse, not in terms of nationality, mind you, because as I said, shipping is international. We are all belonging to the globe. Having said that, my current participants that are coming from 24 countries, and not in terms of gender also. I don't really care so much for just ticking a box to say that, okay, we just have so many female in the program. We have females in the program. They come into the program because we interview people. They are committed. They are competent. They have the drive. They are really having the qualifications. And some of them happen to be women. And that's why we look at the female participants. We don't want to lose the quality of the program because we want to cross a box. We want to make sure that is there because I'm sure we have so many competent and fantastically qualified women who can do this program. And then, of course, you come and ask yourself, then what is the diversity if it's not the gender and if it's not the internationality or the countries or, the real diversity which I have in my class is the segment of the industry that you're bringing in. And this was a dream that I had from the very beginning. How do we make sure that we are giving a holistic view of the industry, which is reflected on our student body? Do we have people from the ship management, ship owners, logistic providers, freight forwarders, equipment makers, lawyers, AI people? Do we have all that under the same roof? Because that diversity is what really provides for the energy energy in that class, is second to none. You have to be really sitting in that class to really feel the energy and see the discussions, the arguments, the reasoning, the learning from each other. And that is the goal that I had. And I'm so happy that we are there. We are still improving on that, but we are there. The holistic view of the maritime industry is utmost important.
If I was to sort of, say, enroll on your MBA program, talk me through, what the process is, because, obviously you've got your modules, and it's over a certain time period, and I guess you've got it in different parts of the world, Denmark, UK, Germany, or whatever. Talk to me about what I would have, what would be expected of me from a procedural basis, what I would have to commit to it.
We normally get participants who are a minimum of 5 years of management work experience within the maritime industry. They have to have a bachelor's or equivalent, and they come in with a couple of, recommendations. But the decisive factor is actually the interview we have with them. We have an hour and a half interview. That's exactly where we find out whether these people really are going to do this program and succeed.
Yeah.
Because the idea is not really to fill up the class. The idea is to fill up the class with competent and motivated people who are really energized to do this program. And then, of course, they're going to be there. The program has 8 one-week modules. It's spread over the 23 months of the period of the program. We have 6 of those modules are in Denmark, in Copenhagen. One of them is in Hamburg, and one of them is in Athens. We used to go to UK before, but then, of course, we moved that to Athens because the Brexit presented some difficulties.
All right, yeah.
So the idea is that when we go to Hamburg is because we go to Hamburg for one reason, and that's where we talk about our ship knowledge and ship design. And that's where we have access to the ports, and also we have access to the new innovation within the shipbuilding through DNB. We go to Athens because, of course, it's the finance model we take to Greece because there is a lot of activities within the marine money, etc., which is happening there. But other than that, everything else is really done in Denmark. And one of the criteria for us, which is very important, is that our participants should have a job. We never recruit somebody who does not have a job. And the reason for that is our teaching is very applied. You need to have a job to relate all your assignments and work that you are doing throughout the program to a real hands-on situation at work. And if you don't have a work, you don't have access to real data, you cannot really do a real cases. So therefore, it's important to have a job when you are doing this program. And of course, it is designed to really cater for those people who are really having a full-time job, and they can also do this program on the side because everything they do is really related to the work that they are doing. We are very happy with that because also today 75% of the people who do this program are coming through the word of mouth.
Right.
That's an indication that the value we have really contributed to the industry.
But you also do a great job in, and you've been very kind to invite me on many occasions to, receptions that you have, alongside events like, Singapore Maritime Week or whatever, where you've got some of the alumni there and just get them together and everybody's talking, everybody's networking again. And it's a continuation of that sort of process, I guess, with people who've been on the course and graduated, and I guess with new entrants as well. You're becoming a member of the Copenhagen Business School MBA family, aren't you?
Right. Once a member of the Blue MBA community, you never get out of it. You are there for life.
I can understand that with you, Irene.
Sean, I never really leave our graduates they never leave us because you know yourself, the networking is a backbone of this industry. One of the reasons actually I was headhunted for this program was my international network within the industry. You see, the thing is that we have an alumni association where we do not just get together every year for a reception, as a lot of people in a lot of the business schools, they have this alumni association and this is the activity. Our alumni association it's created as an independent entity. This association has a governing board. We meet every quarter. And under the auspices of this association, we have created an academy. Now, this academy is providing lifelong learning.
Yeah.
And that is, we must make sure that our graduates are still involved, are still keeping abreast what is happening, are still do have the possibility to come and refresh their know-how. And of course, we provide that also to the industry. So we run short development courses, we run diploma courses, certificate courses. workshops for the industry. But the governing board of the alumni, which are members of the Blue MBA ambassadors in all the different regions, they get together. We normally know what's happening in the industry, and we design and develop these courses for the industry together with our alumni. So that's why, for example, now we are working on enhancing the blue economy in the Eastern Europe with the help of our alumni, which is really amazing.
Absolutely, and that's a very good example of how this sort of good news ideas like this can be spread, and you're spreading quality and you're spreading the sort of ethics that you stand for in CBS. And I want to talk a little bit about the Blue Board Leadership Program. Tell me about that. I mean, what's the sort of reasoning behind this? Because it's a global thing by nature as well, isn't it?
Well, the thing is that, we were so successful with the Blue MBA. As you know, there are so many MBAs. There are 16,000 business schools in the world delivering so many different MBAs. And we were so successful with the Blue MBA that we decided that why not duplicate that idea and try the same idea with the board leadership program. And CBS Executive has a very successful board leadership program, which is delivered in Danish, and it's for the Danish audience. So I went to them and I asked them if I could have that for the maritime community. And it has to be in English, and it has to be for globally accessible for people. Because you see, to be different is really makes you successful. I mean, there's a professor called Michael Porter. He's the guru of strategy. And he says to succeed in anything, you need to be unique. And that's what we have done with the Blue MBA. And we decided, why don't we do it with the Blue Board? So we created this Blue Board Leadership and Governance Program. We got a lot of support from the maritime community. And the idea is to really make sure that the program is really developing on the opportunities, to give appropriate intellectual and practical toolkit, which will help board members so that they can quickly and make decisions. They can deeply get into the tasks and problems coming across their desk and find ways to communicate their conclusions with the real effect. Much of the narrative is that they face maybe driven by conflict outside the boardroom arena, but that is what should motivate integration of analysis, So, even the right board strategies, if they are in place, organizations and their leaders must really mentally be agile enough to adapt swiftly to circumstances. And this is what we try to give to the board members. It's not really so much, not everybody who does the board leadership is a board member. Either they deal with the board members or they're preparing to step into a board position at some point. And in fact, when I looked at this opportunity, I pursued this because I thought this actually would be a next step after the Blue MBA for a number of my graduates. And so far, a good number of them have already actually done the board program, because we also need to have some younger blood in the boardrooms, people who really know what's happening today, what are the areas they should pay attention, how they can communicate, how they can really take a CEO accountable. And, these are very important when you come to the boardrooms. And especially, of course, you can see a lot of the board work which is done in big companies are really done fantastically. But when you're looking at the smaller and medium-sized companies, there is a need for really educating those people who are working in the boards.
How long is the leadership program? What's the duration of the program?
Yeah, that is actually not very long. That's 2 times 4 days. And
brilliant, yeah.
Yeah, 2 times 4 days, and you'll be a certified board member person. You also would be entering association, which is thousands of board people in that association who are certified board members. And then, of course, we have possibility to enter different boards. One of the things we have done now for the next cohort coming in also in September is that we have made sure that we are going to be attached more to the industry. So, for example, we are going to deliver one of the afternoon sessions at Hafnia with the leadership of Hafnia, top leadership.
All right.
We also have gone a little bit further, and we are also involving a person who is working in helping placement of the board members, so that when our participants graduate, they have a connection to the entities who really place board members in different companies. So it's, in my opinion, it's a very good way forward after the Blue MBA, and also for the others who don't want to do a Blue MBA. They have a very tough job and they want to look at different ways of doing things.
Now, Irene, I want to, for the last couple of minutes, I wanted to sort of just find out how you relax, because find out a little bit about you. Because, I mean, You're like everybody I know in the shipping industry. You sort of, work every hour that there is available. Doesn't matter where in the world. If you haven't done it, you're thinking about doing it. And, we're all the same. But there has to come a time where we have to have that lovely balance between work and relaxation. But how do you relax? Do you play the guitar? Do you climb mountains? Do you mow the lawn? How do you relax, Irene?
But Sean, one of the things I used to do before, which really was, I loved it. I used to have a private pilot's license. I used to go up, and that was amazing, really energizing. I don't have the time to do that anymore. But for that, you need to renew your license, and you need to have some hours of solo flights, etc. But now what I do is that I paint. I paint aquarelle. So I sometimes, when I have time, I just paint. Piano sometimes when I have half an hour or something. So these are the things I do. And I go for a run in the woods. I love running in the woods.
So you do like physical exercise?
I live very close to a nature preserved area. So there's a running track. So I go for a run, and it's beautiful, especially now in the summertime. It's really nice. Yeah.
I think that the whole issue of sort of getting that balance is right in business life, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Irene, it's been an absolute joy talking to you today. We've shone a little bit of a spotlight on you and what makes you tick and what drives your passion for this amazing work that you do. Thank you very, very much. And thank you for going through and talking very candidly about the role of the CBS and your Blue MBA and your Blue Ball programs as well. So it's been very, very fascinating. And we'll just to say to the listeners, you'll be able to download this podcast on the shipmanagementinternational.com website, and also be available on social media as well. But Irene, thank you very much indeed for your time today. Look forward to bumping into you face-to-face very, very shortly, as we will do.
Look very much forward to it. Thank you so much, Sean, for the opportunity. It has been a joy.
Absolutely. Have a lovely rest of the day, Irene.
And you.
Bye-bye.